Are we really making a comparison saying the good old days of USSR?
We're not idolizing anything.
yeah,
We're
no,
saying,
that's
look
a
at what
stinker.
happened to their system
You're
after
bold, man.
socialism.
I know why you're a good
Yeah,
wrestler.
before we get into that.
So in terms of like people formerly living in the Soviet Union wanting to sort of revert back to the USSR, it's going to need to be accompanied by other evidence. So earlier I cited that study that you gave me credit on, and then I accompanied it with the preference of people. But the preference of people isn't worth that much in and of itself. There was a survey done in the 1930s where former slaves were asked what their opinions on emancipation were, and they referred to the time before emancipation as, quote, the good old days. Just because they preferred the time before slavery doesn't mean that that was good for them or was a practice we
Right,
should
but we can
continue.
agree
Like-
the collapse of the USSR was a human rights disaster. Right, there was
existence of the
massive
USSR was a human
starvation.
disaster.
Eddie, I think this is super important. Bad things happen when a country collapses. I think that it's much more useful to observe why it collapsed in the first place rather than the effects of the collapse. We know that bad stuff happens when a nation collapses.